Hey, welcome guys to Randy's Side Hustle Journey, or Randy Starts a Side Hustle, whatever you want to call it. This is what we're going to be talking about on these new podcasts. This is my new podcast. I'm excited. I'm pumped up. This is going to be an exciting journey, something new, a new journey, a new side hustle for me. So it's going to be a lot of fun. This is Nelson Rodriguez.
Hey guys.
Very good friend of mine that I've worked with in the past many times, and he's helping me out with a bunch of different things, getting this journey going.
Super excited for you, man.
I wanted to have him here on the show with me so that we can talk about a couple of things that him and I have lived it together. We've gone out there and worked the side hustles and worked the businesses, the jobs at the same time as the side hustle together. So it's been a journey. I've known Nelson for almost 15 years already, and it's he's got his own podcast, and I think that's what got me pumped up and wanting to get my own going. Watching him, I'll let him tell you a little bit about his, so that he can do his own little plug there of his podcast.
That's the reason I do it, man. I like inspiring other people to do new things, and podcasting for me, as you know, has given me a new purpose, a new driving force, new air under my wings. It's been something where I can bring together the culmination of all the things I know and put it to good use and put it in the world and help out other people. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Nelson Rodriguez, like Randy said. I am the host and creator of Montana Method Podcast. I am the writer of Montana Method, the Scarface Playbook. I published it in March of 2002. It was a pivotal moment in my life, becoming an author, becoming a creator, becoming a podcaster. It completely changed my life. And I'm excited now to live out this chapter of my life where I get to help other people start podcasts and show them what podcasting could do for them in their own journey. You know what I mean? It's exciting stuff. So when Randy was like, let's do it, I was pumped, man, especially because Randy's that guy. He has that charisma, the drive. He knows the experience that can serve people. He can say the right things, the right stories that can click. So I'm excited to see how far you can take this.
I'm excited as well, and I'm excited to be able to share my experiences and the knowledge that I've acquired throughout the years. I'm going to share my opinion on these podcasts. You can take it however you want to take it. I've had a lot of fun. We've had a lot of wins, and we've had a lot more losses.
Oh, yeah.
Because you got to have the losses to get the wins. And there's something that he just did or said, and he said it so many times. And I'm going to tell you, if you guys always know this, that this is the most important part of your side hustle, is he kept on saying helping others, helping people, helping you, getting yours going, helping other people learn how to do this or whatever it is that you're doing. It's the most important. I think it's a very important factor in when you're creating a business and starting a side hustle. Is, the more people you can help get what they want, the more of what you want you're gonna get. That's it. If you live by that model, it makes it a lot more fun. And let me tell you, it makes it fun when you see other people succeeding
because of
some of the things you've taught them,
exactly,
or shown them, or they've learned from you, watching you do it. A lot of the things that I've learned, that Nelson's learned, we've learned in the network marketing industry, where that's the core thing of the business. If you don't help other people win, you don't win. You have 100%. To help other people win. Let me get a little sip of water here. All right, we'll edit that.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. We'll leave it in there. Bye-bye.
Yeah, the network marketing days, man. I learned so much back then. We had such great teachers. That was the best school I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that's one of the things I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that school, the brainwashing. That's what they call it. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
When we would go to conventions and we were in MLMs, and I was young. When I started an MLM, I was still living with my parents. That's how long ago. I was in my teens, I think. I hadn't even turned 20 yet. And I started my first MLM, and that's when we started. Well, you got to go to this seminar, and you got to go to this convention, and people tell you that's brainwashing. When you go there, they're just going to brainwash you. And you know what? It's true. They brainwash you. They wash your brain of all the negative and terrible things that are going to hold you back from building your business and helping you achieve your dream. You talk about the dream, and people are like, oh, the dream. No, the dream is the most important part of your journey. If you don't know your dream and the reason why you're doing what you're doing, you're not going to have the energy or the oomph to want to do it every day 100%. And do the grind that's the part of whatever you're doing that you might not like, or that's the part that you don't like doing. And we'll talk about that too. But the washing of the brain, I'm going to talk a lot about that today. I'm not going to talk about brainwashing, but I'm going to talk about working on yourself, because that's what it is. That's what happens when you go to these seminars and these conventions, and we get to listen to these leaders and these people that Nelson's talking about, these amazing leaders that have gone through the trenches. They've been in the trenches. They've gone through the battle, through all the failures where all we got to do is learn from their mistakes. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. You know what I mean? You just got to follow certain ideas, certain principles that a lot of these people have taught us from their experiences. And if we, on a daily, work on our brain and work on our attitude, it's what's going to help you move your business to the next level.
And let me tell you that because of that industry, I've been able to move that forward into everything else I've ever done. Because you learn the concept of learning from the people who have what you want, implementing that in your own life, and then you'll get the results. It's just a matter of listening to the right people, taking the right action, doing the right things, working on yourself. I mean, it was a foreign concept to me. You know what I mean? When I first got involved in that industry, and just in business in general, being able to be around people who have the results that you want in your life was like, wow, these people really are living that kind of life. I didn't even know anybody successful before I started network marketing. So for me, it was a big thing. It was a big deal. And then I found out, wow, this is just universal. You can use this in your whole life, in anything. It's been a big... So one thing you said was vision. That I learned how to dream. I learned how to cast a real vision. I was always a big dreamer as a kid, but I didn't have the skill or how to implement that. And being in MLM was a great start for me because it taught me how to dream, how to cast a vision, how to enroll other people in my vision. And if you don't have a vision, you don't have anything. And I'll take it a step further. The person who casts the biggest vision and learns how to cast it the best, paint it the biggest, and enrolls the most people in it is the person who's going to see that dream come to fruition. Because that's what it's all about. You got to be able to paint the vision. If you can't paint the vision, you got nothing.
You have to. You have to have an end point, something you're shooting for, something that's the goal. It could be anything. It could be, it could be a big giant poster board on your wall with a bunch of pictures.
Yep.
Visual. I like that. Some people have a list. Some people have a book. They write down you write down your goals in a book. Your 5-year goals, your 10-year goals, and they shoot for that. And they shoot for those. That's the dream,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the vision board is huge.
So yeah, the vision board.
So important.
I learned that such a long time ago, and it's funny because you look at it sometimes, you're like, damn, chink chink, I did that already. Chink chink, I got accomplished that. Chink chink, and sometimes you got to look at it, but you got to put it in places where it's there, like it's in my closet on the wall,
right,
where I get dressed. So when I'm getting dressed, you look at it, And sometimes you look at it, but you don't really look at it, You look at it, but you don't really look at it. And months go by, and then one day you sit there and you really look at it, and you're like, wow, coño, I already got the car. I got the house. Now I can get it. Now you change it. You add to it.
100%.
This is part of the brainwashing. You have to train your brain of the things that you want. I learned a long time ago, like you said, a first year that I got involved in in network marketing. I was told you got to read books. And I was that kid, in school that didn't like school. I didn't like it. We'll talk about that. But I was that guy that didn't want to read a book. And they told you got to listen to these tapes, cassettes. We had cassettes. Make me feel old. You got to listen to these. And one of the first things that they taught us, I remember when we saw that business, was they made a list, of all the things that are important to you. The dream. We're always talking about the dream, man. And they go, and they always make a list, what's important to you? House, the education for your children, colleges, the car that you drive, the boats, an airplane. What do you like? How do you want to spend your day? And you get excited. And at that point, and then they showed you the business, and whatever business it is, it had a track record. It got me excited. I saw that I could do it. I said, I could do this. And then when they tell you got to do this and you got to do this, well, you got to do whatever they tell you to do, because you got to do what the people have done to achieve what they have achieved in those businesses. You can't come up with your own stuff, and that's where people fail a lot. You got to do what they're doing to be successful. Exactly. They say you got to read books and you got to listen to tapes. Bro, I read 30 books in my first year. It's changed my game to this day. Like Nelson says, I continue to read. I continue to listen. I like to listen more than I read. I read a little bit, but I listen more than I get on audio books, and I listen to audiobooks. But
now with podcasting, that's taking it to a whole nother level, because anybody who you can think of that's successful, that maybe has what you want, has been on a podcast. So now you can just whip out that podcast and listen to it. We're living in an era where there's no excuse. Like, the information you're looking for is out there. And sometimes it's not even out there. It's thrown in your face. You're scrolling through YouTube, you're scrolling through Instagram, and you see all these videos of all these people on all these podcasts giving information, telling you how they did it. So we're living in an era, we're so blessed. It is the easiest time in history to become an entrepreneur.
Yeah. I remember back then, when I was first starting, talking about that, we had to really search to get the content that is so easily available to us now from so many different people, from so many different cultures. So, I'm Latin, and if I hear another Latin guy talking about the business, I'm going to relate better with him maybe, you know what I mean? Or whatever it is, because I relate with everybody. I love people. So, but it was hard back then. You're looking, we would listen to cassettes of different people doing whatever business we were doing back then, and they teach you, they do two things. And let me tell you, it was, you get so hooked on certain people, and now there's so many people. So many different motivational speakers, Les Brown, Tony Robbins, E.T.'s the bomb.
Eric Thomas.
And this guy literally, on top of all the other stuff that he does, I'm pretty sure, from what I understand, he makes, because I don't watch him every day. I used to listen to him so much. But he makes little videos for you, so you can listen to one in the morning, one at lunchtime, one in the afternoon, in the evening, to keep you charged up. And that's kind of like what I want to talk about.
I remember he used to do this series called Thank God It's Monday, TGIM. And this one TGIM, he was like, wash your car, clean your room, mow your lawn. Woo! He was so excited just about doing regular stuff. I love him, man. Eric Thomas is the best.
That's how you got to do it. You got to get yourself pumped up about doing the things you don't like to do.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's why you do it, because when you wake up in the morning, I remember I'm gonna go through the day now. My brainwashing. I would go through, pick up Nelson when I used to work with Nelson. We used to work a job together, and after the job, we worked our side hustle together, and that's where I met him, in one of our side hustles. And I remember, we came across a situation where I had to pick him up. I would pick him up, and we would ride to work together, and then we would ride back. We'd spend all day together, and we drove around and stuff. And I remember when I went to go pick him up the first time, and he jumped in the car, and I said, listen, We're not going to chit chat, you know, because I had my process that I did in the morning when I drove to my starting point of my day, wherever I was going to do the job or whatever business I was doing. And I would brainwash myself. I would start. And in the mornings, it was hardcore things like ET that would freaking pump you up. That would, you could ask this guy, we would be high five in the car. You know, you'd think we were crazy. You would think that we were nuts. Look at these two guys.
That's why we outperformed everybody at work, though.
But you know what would happen when we get to the office? Because see, that's
Yep.
you know, you gotta listen to a little bit. Maybe in the morning when you get up, you listen to a little audio book or something like that. But then when you get in the car and you start preparing yourself for the whatever you're gonna do that day, and we're gonna talk about that because that's where a lot of people fail. That's where they lose. Is after you go through your morning ritual and you get yourself pumped up. You're getting yourself pumped up for a reason. You're not just getting yourself pumped up because you want to feel good and you want to feel happy. You're getting yourself pumped up to do a task, to take action in your business.
100%.
To do the things that you don't feel like doing.
Yep.
So when you get there to do those things, I remember I would get there, bro. I would get 2 cups of coffee, bro. I would park them in front of me. And I was so jacked up already that whatever I was doing, whatever I was selling, whatever I was pitching, watch out. You would give it 120%.
I remember Randy, his second week there made like $2,500. And I was just, man, I was so happy because I said, man, all right, now I got something to shoot for. And the next week, I'll never forget it. I was the second
This guy never had done that. That what we were doing. I'm not going to talk about that, but
we
legitimate business just want to, you know, we were doing this, working for this company, and he had never done this industry before.
Never sold that service over the phone. Yeah.
And most people that got into that service, it would take them sometimes
a couple months
to make a sale, a first sale, close a deal, get a deposit.
Yep.
And this guy did it like his second week, I think it was.
I closed 3 deals.
And he closed more than one. It wasn't one of those lucky.
No.
He did a couple
I did 3 or 4 that week, yeah.
Yep. And I'm telling you, that's what I can attribute it to. I can attribute it to about having the right attitude.
100%. Because before I got to those phone calls where I made money, I made hundreds of phone calls where no one answered the phone. I made hundreds of phone calls where people didn't want to talk to me, hung up the phone on me. I made a few calls where someone answered the phone, and I finally got a call where somebody paid me money. And you just have to like doing stuff that's not fun. You have to like getting yelled at. You have to like getting treated like garbage. You have to like no one answering the phone. You have to like it because the faster you get through that, the faster you can get to the fun part, which is getting paid.
Yeah, you just what he means by that is that you can't take it personal.
No.
The minute you start taking things personal when you're doing your side hustle or you're working in your business, and if you're in real estate or anything that has to do with sales, the minute you start taking things personal, you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot.
100%.
You gotta let the things, like he says, you gotta have fun with it. You gotta rub off of you like a duck, like the water rolls off the duck. You just gotta let that roll off you. You can't let that bother you. That's the same thing with your attitude.
100%.
You can't let anybody touch it. You can't let nobody mess with your attitude. I learned this a long, long time ago. Your attitude is yours. No one is allowed to touch it.
Abraham Lincoln.
If you allow people to mess around with your attitude, it will affect your life, your relationships, your income. It affects everything. It's yours. And like I said, you got to constantly be working on it. The more you work on it, the better your attitude is, the more success you're going to have in all aspects of your life, not just in generating money, but relationships with your family and your friends,
100%. Attitude is something so interesting, right? Because it's easy to have a good attitude when things are going well. It's easy to have a good attitude when you're making money. It's easy to have a good attitude when you're on vacation. It's easy to have a good attitude when all these great things are happening. How's your attitude when your car breaks down? How's your attitude when you run out of money? How's your attitude when no one's picking up the phone? How's your attitude when no one wants to help you? How's your attitude when, you know, you're going through a divorce or you're going through bankruptcy or when your kids get sick? How's your attitude when you get hit with serious adversity? Because I can tell you right now, my attitude was exactly the same in adversity as it was when I won something. It was exactly the same. I was the same positive, excited, funny guy that loved being around people, that was happy for other people. I had the same attitude. And I'm a firm believer that the only difference between a good day and a bad day is your attitude.
Right.
Firm
And there's
believer.
no such thing as a bad day. It's not a bad day. I learned this from Les Brown. I got to give him props. It's a character building day. It's not a bad day. It's a character building day because it helps you build character. It sucks. Sometimes it just does, you know, but you got to use that.
So a couple of weeks
You know?
ago, I had a bad moment because it's not a bad day. It's a bad moment you won't let go of,
Right.
right?
Learn from it.
So I had a bad moment, and a lot of people were present when I had the bad moment, right? When the bad thing happened to me. And, you know, in the moment, it did affect me. You could clearly see that it did affect me. But after a little while, I let it go, and I was just back to normal, doing my thing. And that night, I got a text message that was amazing. And this was, my friend told me, listen, keep your head up or else your crown is going to fall off.
That's awesome.
Wow, man.
That's huge, bro.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah. And I told him, yeah, man, these are the days that make me.
Yep.
I am Nelson because of these days, not because of the days where I make a ton of money or, I do something great or whatever. I am Nelson because of days like this. These are the days that change your life. That because of what happened on this day and the decision you made and the effect it had on you, the choice you made about the effect it had on you, right? That's what determines who you are as a person. Those are the days that make you or break you.
Amen, brother.
100%.
Yep. And you got to leave it at the door.
Oof. Super important.
You got to leave it at the door when you get home. You can't bring it home. You have those, you got to leave it at the door.
The people that take out all their frustrations from work and stuff on their kids and their wife.
No, you got to leave it at the door.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
I learned that a long time ago too. That's key, you know.
Definitely. What's that book, The Greatest Salesman in the World?
Oh, that's a great book.
Og Mandino.
Yeah, I have that book in the car. That's the book that I plucked out today. That's so funny you said that. I'll show it to you in the car. That's one of the best books in the world. That book is
amazing.
Is amazing. It's amazing. How to Win Friends and Influence People is another
good
one's
one.
amazing. Those books are
Classics.
classics.
Yeah.
They're foundations. It's a foundation. If you get that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and it doesn't even sound good, right? How to win friends and influence people. It doesn't. It's not. It sounds like, man, this guy's trying to be slick or learn how to be slick and trick people.
And it's the opposite.
It's the opposite. It
total
teaches you things like how to use people's names when you talk to them. You know, how much people like it when you use their name. So like that's a really good one to talk about.
Right.
You know, when you're out and you're doing things and you're selling or you're pitching and you're meeting new people and you meet and I know sometimes it's hard for me because sometimes you'll meet 3 or 4 people and they give you all the names and it's hard to remember all of them. But if you can remember the name or you jot down the name at some point when the person is not looking, so that when you're communicating with them and you use their name, it's huge.
It is.
It's a person's name is, and this is I learned this from Dale Carnegie in How to Win Friends and Influence People. A person's name is the sweetest sound to their ears.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So if you use people's names when you're talking, you're working, you're pitching, it's really good. It's really good, and those are the things that the book teaches you.
Yep.
Some things like that, and it's just really, you got to read, you got to listen.
Definitely.
Listen to books, and it's going to change your game. I tell you, I remember the first, when I got together with my wife, and she first started to get to know me because, she comes from a different type of world. She's corporate, different type of, she never been with somebody like me that took risks, the risks that I took and the things that I did and read all the books. And then I remember turning her on to a specific book and she read the book and she would listen to it in the car. I said, listen to it in the car. Sometimes we don't have time to read because, in life we can either make excuses, which is the excuse I don't have time to read. And it only takes a couple minutes before we go to bed. You only want to read a few minutes. You don't want to spend an hour reading before you go to bed because your brain only retains about 15 minutes of it. So just read a little while before you go to bed. If you read, if you listen, you're driving to work, you can listen to books instead of listening to jams and stuff like that. Listen to a book.
100%.
And she started doing that. And she told me, she goes, babe, I started using some of the stuff that I learned in the book, and it's completely changed my game. I was like, I told you. I'm telling you guys, it's huge. The brainwashing, that's what they're talking about. Personal development, self-improvement. That's going to be the thing that I talk about probably the most during my podcast, because I believe in hardcore and how important that is, you know,
100%.
and it's a daily, throughout the day thing, and the more you do it, the better your attitude is, you know.
Jim Rohn said that income seldom exceeds your personal development.
Yep.
I'll take it a step further. Your results in life seldom exceed your level of personal development. Just your life in general. It doesn't even have to be money. Your relationships, the people you're around, how you look physically, your attitude, how much money you make. Everything is about personal development. You have to work on yourself. Once you understand it's not about how, it's about who, that it's more about who you are as a person, and how you operate is what determines the results you have in life. That the day I understood that, my life changed forever. I'll never forget that first Jim Rohn audio that I heard where he said, don't wish things were easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. You don't need less challenges, you just need more wisdom. I never saw it that way.
Day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. I used to have that posted in front of my desk.
Life-changing.
Day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better.
Man.
Yeah. And trust me, man, I'll go a long time without doing any of the things that I'm telling you about. It happens to me too. I'm human just like everybody else. But let me tell you something.
Get back on track.
54 years old. I'm going to be 55. Damn. Senior citizen age. 55.
You remember being like 19 or 20 and seeing someone
That's when you got to
55?
keep doing it.
Yeah.
That's when you can't stop.
100%.
Because I was just thinking about that. That's when you can't stop. I stopped. You know what? I got alligator skin. That shit comes back to me right away like nothing. It's ingrained in you when you do it so much. You do it over and over and over and over, and constantly working on yourself every day for years and years and years, and you become an expert at personal development and working on yourself. You become so good that you have alligator skin now.
100%.
Now there's nothing that nobody can tell you that will phase you.
Bulletproof.
You're bulletproof. They come up. You don't even have to put your hand up. It's like you got an imaginary hand. When somebody comes with the negative to you, it's like you got an imaginary hand sticking it in their face, but you don't got to be rude and do it. It's there because you have already trained and brainwashed yourself so much that stuff just bounces off of you.
Yep.
Because you know already that that's just poison. Don't even let it in your ears.
I said the other day on my podcast that it's funny because the things that would have destroyed me mentally 10 years ago are things that happen to me now, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't. I learned this from a wise lady that I saw the other day in a video I saw, and she goes, you know, I'm at the age already where my give a shit button is broken. I took that bitch off and threw her in the bottom of the lake. Because, if you like that, if you have that attitude, holy moly, you know, you won't be so concerned about what people are thinking about you or
100%.
saying about you.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we think that people are saying things about us or talking about us or thinking about us. And you know what? They might not even be talking or thinking about you.
Probably.
And you're beating yourself up and you're sweating that, and they might not even be doing it.
You know,
I learned that once. I was like, wow, that's incredible. Sometimes we beat ourselves up so much. And it's true because they might not even. You think these things that are not true sometimes.
100%.
You know?
You know what's funny?
Sabotage yourself.
Now that I'm sabotaging yourself. Now that I run a studio and I'm helping people start their podcast. all the time I run into people, oh, I would love to do that. I'm just not that kind of person. And I said, what kind of person? Oh, I can't get in front of the camera, because, what would people say or what would, and I said, what would people say? Who cares what they would say?
It's so funny that you're saying that right now, bro.
Who cares?
Let me tell you guys, personal experience right now today. Personal experience right now today, when I was driving here to do this podcast with Nelson, I didn't do anything. I didn't prepare. I didn't write anything down. I didn't do anything because I wanted him to guide me through the process from the beginning to the end. I've never done podcasts before. I did one with him. I was a guest on his, and I had a great time.
It's different when you're a guest, though.
Yeah,
very different.
I know. I feel it.
Yeah,
but I like it because I'm an extrovert. I like to talk, and I like to help others. And once I get started talking about the things that I like, I could talk forever. You know what I mean? So when 100%. I saw his podcast, now I'm going off. See, the ADD's kicking in. So when I saw his podcast, I got super excited, and I waited a while because his podcasts are popping up everywhere. Like every day, I run into it 2 or 3 times, and I'm like, whoa! And Nelson's podcast is blowing up. This is unbelievable. I want to do this. I want some of this. And I called him and I told him, I can help you. You help me. Blah, blah, blah. He offered to help me. So I'm following his direction. And when I got here today, and he told me, this is this and this, but this is your show.
It's your show, brother.
So you gotta do what you gotta do, what you want to do. So I took out my phone, which is my little pad, and most people will crack right there.
Yep.
Most people right there, when you crack and get nervous, and I know I was nervous, but no, bro, I'm not nervous, man. I'm gonna give me a minute. And I started and wrote down some bullet points of what I want to talk about, because I already know what I want my podcast to be about: the side hustle journey, personal development, sales, helping other people achieve their dreams. That's what I like to talk about. The side hustle journey for people. Everybody's got a different one. You know what I mean? So that's what and then when Nelson told me that, I was like, all right, I kind of like, okay, all right, let me get my thing. Let me do this. What are we going to do here? And the minute that I pulled out my phone, it's funny because like I was just telling you, when you do it for so many years, it's like magic. I pulled out the phone, I put number 1, boom, and I started, then boom, 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 boom. And everything just starts coming to you, what you want to talk about. And it's like, dude, I got to stop because I could go on and on and on. You know what I mean? And then I was like, at that point, I was already excited to start.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? I was already excited to start, but you got to start.
You have to start. And sometimes
you got to start.
Starting is the hardest part.
And that's why you do the ritual in the morning. This is why you do the ritual in the morning. Let's talk about that for a couple of minutes. Because if you don't take the action, you don't get the results. 100%. You got to take the action. Then it's just a fantasy. It's not a dream.
Me personally, my morning starts the night before. For me,
I was gonna hit that in a minute.
That for me is sacred. So what do? And I talk about this on my Instagram sometimes. I make my to-do list for the next day, the night before.
That's when you should do it.
When I'm about to go to sleep and I have nothing else, and it's like I have 5 minutes to just take my time, write down, remember. And it's funny how during the day, I'm sure this happens to other people, you forget all kinds of shit. However, at the end of the day, when there's no rush, everything oh yeah, I gotta call this guy tomorrow. Oh yeah, I gotta go buy this. Oh, I ran out of water. Oh, I gotta buy bananas. Oh, I gotta talk to this guy about doing this deal. Everything all of a sudden just appears in my mind. So I do the to-do list the night before. I pick out my outfit for the next day. Picking out my outfit the night before for me is so convenient because in the morning all I have to do is get up, take a shower, put on my clothes, and run out the door.
The to-do list.
Yes. So
talk about the to-do list. I'm going to talk to you about the to-do list and how you make that to-do list and how the order that you write the to-do list, because you got to put it in a certain order. You can't just whip it out.
100%.
Yeah. And go ahead.
So for me, I have the to-do list. I write the date, to-do list, and I split the page down the middle. On the left side, I put work-related stuff, and on the right side, I put my personal stuff. So, because at the end of the day, as much as people don't like doing laundry and people don't like pumping gas, and you got to do it. Stuff you got to do.
Yep.
So, and then I prioritize it. I just list it all out. I just basically blurt out on the page, and then I list out on a scale of 1 to 10 which one is most important. I put a number to it, next to it. And when it's really important, I put like a 10 and a star, or a 10 and an arrow. So I start with the 10s and I work my way down. That's how I do it.
Okay. You can do it like that. That's fine. But there's going to be things on that list that you don't feel like doing.
Oh,
Right? There's going to be things on the list that you dread.
yep.
That you see it on the list and you're like, damn, I don't
Keep
want
putting
to
it
do
off.
that.
Keep putting it off.
That's number one
100%.
on your list for the next day. That's called eating the frog.
Yep.
Think about that. You got a big giant frog and you got to eat the frog. Before you do it, you eat the frog. You can have this, you can have that, but you're going to eat the frog first.
100%.
Get it out of the way, the nastiest part.
100%.
Get it out of the way. The rest of the meal is awesome.
Yep.
You don't want to eat the frog last because then you'll throw up your good meal that you just ate.
Yep. 100%.
So you make your list in order of the things that you don't want to do first because they're important, and that's probably why you don't want to do it. It's important, and it's something that's not, that's you don't feel
100%.
like dealing with, and you should just deal with it. Real
Right.
fast on that topic, when you have a situation in your life that's making you uncomfortable, that you're dreading, that every time you think about it, it gives you that little thing in your stomach and it just bothers you and it just sucks, deal with it.
Yep.
Get it out of the way, man. Charge for it.
Something I've
Right forward, get it and just devour it and finish it and done with it. Because you know what? When you're done with it, you're going to be like, oh, man.
Yeah.
I was sweating that for so many months for nothing. And look how simple I resolved it.
Something I've learned in my own life is that when you voluntarily do the difficult things, life is so much easier. For example, the difficult conversations we don't want to have with friends and family, and everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about. It could range. It could be many different things. It could be somebody that owes you money in the family. It could be someone who's addicted to drugs and you haven't really addressed it. It could be an alcoholic. It could be someone who's overeating. It could be someone who's making bad decisions. It doesn't even have to be someone who necessarily is ruining their life, but you know they're making bad decisions and it's not to their best interest. It could be so many different things. Pick one. You know exactly what I'm talking about. When you voluntarily have those conversations, regardless of whether the person decides to listen to you or not, you feel so much better as a person.
No, and sometimes people have those conversations with you because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, which is good because that's good. It's called having an accountability partner.
I mean, somebody cares about you.
Yeah, somebody that cares about you and holds you accountable. And
100%.
I have a really good friend of mine that, you know, he's pretty much, you know, Bud's pretty much the one that, you know, cracks the whip on me and stuff when I'm not doing what I need to be doing. And I remember when he brought that up, it brought this to my memory, dude, when you just started talking about that. And I remember I was in this company that we were building, him and and we were working, we were at the office. Him and I would work together at the office every day at his office. And there was customers that you needed to have a certain amount of personal customers to qualify for certain bonuses that you were getting because your team was blowing up and you were making all kinds of bonuses. But if you didn't have your correct amount of customers, you wouldn't get some of the bonuses.
Right.
And I was being a wimp. I was being a complete wimp because I didn't want to call. And the people you're supposed to call to get the personal customers are your friends and your family. And I didn't feel like doing it anymore because I have already done it in so many different businesses that I've been in and so many different things that I've done in my life that you feel like, damn. And then it's people that you never call. It's people that you don't talk to all the time.
100%.
So that's what makes it so hard for me. It was that, you know, I had to call a cousin of mine that I haven't talked to in 6 months. And now I got to call her and talk to her about a service or a product that I want to sell her and pitch her, and I want her to buy it from me right there on the spot. It was hardcore. It was nervous. It made me uncomfortable. I was scared. I was scared. And Bud says, I don't remember. Oh my gosh. It's like one of those things that happens in your life that's like imprinted. And they like put a freaking, like a brand. You know how when you get a brand on your arm? Yeah. And it's like there and just forget it. Unless they cut it off, it's there forever. That situation, that day is imprinted in my brain. He turns around and he looks at me because I was sitting there at my desk pouting like a puss because I didn't have what I needed to have, and I was saying whatever I was saying, and he turns around and he tells me, dude, why are you being such a wimp, man? You're being such a wimp. You're on the phone every day training people on how to do this. I see you on the phone helping other people do it. You call on the phone with them. You talk to their family members for them. You close the deal for them. You do it every day over and over and over and over and over again. But you're such a puss, you won't get your own customers. He tore me up so bad in a very diplomatic, non-respectful way that it made my blood, because he just kept on. It wasn't one of those 10-second ass whipping. He went on and 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 on, and he knew what he was doing. He went on and on and on until I got so pissed. I got so upset at all the things that he was telling me, and it was all so true, man. And I pulled out my list of all my friends and all my contacts and all my family, and I think I got like 30 customers. I think I went out and I got like 30 customers. I got 20 more than what I need.
That's awesome.
Because I was so pissed because he held me accountable. And he freaking cracked the whip so hardcore that day, because that had been going on. That had been going on already for a long time. I was losing money every month. I was making a ton of money, but I was losing a ton of money just because of that. And it was accountability. You got to take the action. You got to do it. You got to do everything that you motivate yourself for. All the listening that I'm talking about, that Nuss and I are talking about, all the reading that I'm talking about, you do that for this so that you can do the things that you don't like to do. So you get your to-do list and you attack it the next day when it's time to attack it.
Patrick Bet-David, he talks about the council, the advisory board. Who do you take counsel from? You know, like, who's your consigliere? And so many people take advice from the wrong people. They listen to the wrong people. And then when someone tells them the truth about how it really is, because they're not living up to their potential, they're doing things they shouldn't be doing, all of a sudden that person is the villain. And it's, no, man, that person is telling you like it is. They're telling you the truth.
And if you can't handle that,
that speaks about you, not them.
If you can't handle somebody coming up to you straight up in your face and criticizing your game, you're not going to have success. If you're going to take it personal again, you're not going to have success. You're not going to have success. But if you do heed the advice of that individual that's coming up to you to call you on your bullshit, you'll win. 100%. I remember one day being in the freaking office moving where we were doing before. I was next to a friend of mine, Vinny. He was sitting here next to me, and I was just learning how to do it. This is why I was blown away when he did his first sale in like 2 weeks, because it took me like 2 months. And I was freaking mad because I hadn't closed a deal, and this guy in front of me is closing deals. This guy over here is closing deals. This guy here is closing deals. And I'm on that phone every day, pounding it. Good attitude, bad attitude, whatever it was, pounding it. And I'm telling you, I was kicking the side of the freaking cubicle. I would kick the cubicle because I was so upset because I didn't close a deal. I hadn't closed the deal yet. And Vinny, because I was training to be the sales manager of that call center. And he was the experienced one in that industry, helping me learn it. And he was sitting next to me making sales. And he tapped me on the shoulder. He says, Randy, let me talk to you for a second. And he took me outside. He goes, brother, your attitude is horrible, dude. Your attitude is horrible. You're upset. And that's why you're not closing, man. You're bringing it every day, the same thing. You're upset. You've already gotten to the point where you're so upset you haven't closed deals that it's affecting your process. You have to stop.
It comes off.
And as soon as I say, damn, Vinny, you're so right, man. And I cleaned up my attitude. That same day I made a deal.
It comes off, man.
That same day I made a deal, and then from there was just like the sky was the limit. But yeah, you have to have somebody to hold you accountable. And back to what I was saying, you got to take action. You got to do there's the few things that you need to do. Whatever business you're in, they're going to train you and they're going to tell you these are the things that you have to do on a daily to have success in the business, where that be. You got to show the business, you got to promote the product, you got to talk to your family, you got to do this, you got to do that. There's going to be certain things you got to do every day on a daily in that business to have success. So you can do all the motivating and all the pumping and all the cheering and all the working on yourself and all the reading and all that you want to do. You'll be the most happiest, most excited, broke person in the world if you don't take action.
100%.
You got to take the action. You got to do the work. You got to do the job.
So, and building up on that point about how you closed the deal that day as soon as you made the correction, it's because you started acting like the Randy that had closed the deal. You have to act like the person you want to be in order to become that person.
Right.
It's not when I get the results, I'll start acting that way. It's you have to act that way in order to get the results. It's called be, do, have, not have, do, be.
Right.
You have to start acting that way now. That's something that helped me as well. And I look at that list all the time. I write down the Nelson. All right. The Nelson that's worth $100 million, that's married with 5 kids and that lives in this mansion and has a 6-pack and has all this stuff that I want.
10 million followers.
Yeah, all
that. You gotta
biggest podcast
see
in
it.
the world.
Yeah, you gotta see it before you have it.
All that stuff that I want, the super me, I ask myself, what decision would that Nelson make right now in this moment? And that's the decision I go with. You have to act that way now, guys. You can't act as if, something magical is going to happen and give me results based on something I haven't been doing. And then once I have the results is when I'm going to start being that person. No, that's not how it works. 1 + 1 = 2. It's not equals 2, then 1 + 1.
And and always keep this in mind. Everybody's journey is different.
100%.
Everybody's journey to success is different.
Comparison will kill your dreams.
Because some people are going to come into the deal, into the business that you're in, that you see someone new jump in and blow right by you in production and success in the same industry that you've been in for a year already. And you can't just comprehend, maybe I just can't do. No, it's not that you can't do it. It's that you need to go through the process. You need to go through the learning curve.
100%.
You need to go through the growth. Now, you got someone that comes into the business that does that blows right by you. Because I've done that. I've seen people. I've done it myself. I've gotten to a company and I've killed it, blown it up. And other people are like wondering, what the hell? Dude, you don't understand the freaking crap and the battles that I've been through in all these types of businesses, that the stuff that they teach you in this business in the beginning to do, I'm already an expert at it. So you take it to another level faster because you've already paid a price somewhere else.
100%.
You know what I mean? So everybody's journey is different. Learn from people like that come into your business. When I would come into the business and I would see people that are blowing up, I'm like, oh man, I'm going to look for this guy's stuff. I'm going to look for his videos. I'm going to look for his thing and I listen to him. Boom, boom, boom. Somebody new comes into the business that just comes in and blows right by me in production. I'm like, dude, hold on a second. What are you doing? Can I have 10 minutes, man? What are you doing? Oh no, bro, I say this instead of this. No. And then you go do it the next day and you start getting the same results. That's just simple as it is.
100%.
It's as simple as that. I remember being in a call center when I used to sell health insurance. And I would be on the phone and listening, and I'm pitching, and I'm listening, and I'm pitching. And I heard this guy, I never forget this day because these things happen to you and you're like, damn, I can't believe it was that easy. And he just said a little different thing in his pitch, in his closing at the end. And I heard it, I forgot exactly what it is, but I'll never forget the day and the situation. But he said something different in his pitch. And I was like, oh, that sounds good, man. And I'm the kind of guy that if you give me a pitch and you tell me this is the pitch that works,
right,
I memorize it verbatim. But it's like to my personality, I might change a little word here or there, but I don't change the content of the script. I do exactly what the script tells me to do. But this guy had a completely different question or statement that he said at the end. And I was like, I'm going to try that on the next call. And on the very next call, I tried that and I closed it. And my sales tripled.
So,
just because you're willing to try different things,
100%.
learn different things, learning from other
gotta be
people.
coachable.
Instead of being jealous and envious of others, learn from them.
100%.
Use their knowledge to make your game better. They're going to learn from you, and they're going to steal shit from you.
Yep.
And it's okay. It's okay. It's like the best form of plagiarism, right? When somebody uses your lines to have success in their business, it's going to make you feel good. And that's the part that I'm trying to tell you guys, that when you help enough people be successful in whatever businesses you're in, you're going to have massive success. And it's the best feeling. It's better than making money.
Right. Yeah. 100%.
It's better than making money is helping someone else fill their bank account up with what you taught them. Poof, that feels good. It's fun.
So I used to work at Cadillac, and I worked in a department called BDC. That's basically where you sell over the phone. And it's funny because I got there, no one really knew me. I'm the new guy, whatever. And I killed it. I wrote for every month I was there. I broke my own record. I broke the company record the first month, and then I broke my own record every month after that. Why? They gave me a script, and I stuck to it. The exact script they gave me is exactly how I did it. Obviously, like he said, you throw your own personality in it. I just stuck to it, and I always said the same thing over and over and over again. Same thing over and over and over again. Same thing over and over and over and over again. And I got better results than everybody else. Oh my God, how are you doing it? Bro, I just outwork you. I'm just doing it more than you do. That's it.
I remember talking about cars. That's one of the best businesses. If you're in sales or you're just starting in sales, the best training that you could get
is the car business.
Is being a car salesman.
100%.
Because being a ar salesman is brutal. They're brutal to you.
Yep.
So it helps you become super good because you have to get through that brutalness to make money. But I remember how I got into the business. My cousin came to visit me at my office. I was in the window treatment business. I used to do blinds and vertical blinds and install blinds and do interior decorating with decorators and stuff like that. I was in that manufacturing wholesale business, retail too. And he came to see me, and I was talking to him. He had just gotten out of the Navy, and he started selling cars. And he goes, "Look, I made, I don't know, I think it was like $8,000 or $9,000 last month in the car business." And back then, that was a lot. I was like, wow.
Back when $9,000 was $9,000.
I was like, dude, you made $9,000 in 1 month? And he was like, yeah. I was like, bro, get me an interview. Please, I want to go right now. Get me an interview there. I want to go see them, and I'll shut this thing down. But I shut the business down. He got me an interview because I was already bored of it. And I kind of had reached the ceiling. You got to love what you do. I've talked about that before. And I went to the car business. And to make a long story short, like he said, I sold 18 cars my first month in the business. I crushed it. I made more than $9,000 my first month in the business. I destroyed it. I did fantastic. You know why I did good? Because I didn't know anything. Because I was green. Because I didn't prejudge people that walked up to the dealer. Because I didn't do that in the beginning. In the beginning, anybody that walked near the showroom floor or I saw on the lot looking at cars, I was in their face. It didn't matter if you were in flip-flops, your bathing suit, and you just didn't look like you were buying. You just walked across from the beach, and you just walked into our lot, and you were looking at cars while you were walking down the side. It didn't matter. It didn't matter because what happened after I sold the 18 cars and I made a ton of money that month, I started to freaking think that I knew what I was doing. And the minute that I thought I knew what I was doing, my sales plummeted. Because I didn't talk to everybody like I was doing before. I started to prejudge people. I would talk to them for a few minutes when I first met them, but then I wouldn't handle it properly. I wouldn't go full force to try to close every person because I asked them a couple questions, and the way they answered the questions, I thought I knew what I was doing. Instead of letting the finance managers and the general managers do their job, and my job was to sell the car. And I didn't. I changed the way that I behave, and I failed miserably. And when I realized that, because they tell you right away, now you know what you're doing, huh? Now you know what you're doing, damn, but you ain't selling as much as you sold last month when you didn't know what you're doing. Stick to being and behaving and acting like you don't know what you're doing.
100%.
Because if you act like you don't know what you're doing, you're going to win.
100%.
They tell you all the things you need to know how to do. Learn everything about the car. Product knowledge.
Yep.
And if you knew your product knowledge and you went around the car and you did the demonstration properly, like they taught you everything that we were just talking about, you would make sales. It was a fun business. It's hardcore though. They're
not for the
some
weak.
people are brutal.
Yeah.
Because they think that we're liars or I believe, in my opinion, it's not the same anymore. I don't think salesmen get treated anymore the way we used to get treated when I sold cars, because there's too much information out there now, so people know that the salesman's not lying anymore.
Right. No, but I mean,
you know what I mean? Back then, now you can go online and you can find out what the invoice price is on any car.
Yeah.
So you can walk into the dealer and you can start negotiating a deal, and you already know whatever they're telling you. You know the price, and they know you know.
Right.
100%. You know what I mean? So it's a different atmosphere. Back then, they always thought that we were lying. You know what I mean? And the mean people were super brutal. Oof. Brutal. I'm just here looking. I would tell them, listen, that's okay, man. I'm the looking manager. Let's go look. And then they'd be driving out with a car in an hour or two. Yeah, just gotta have the right attitude.
Randy, thank you for having me on your show, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. It's been a great show. It's been fun.
Can you believe it's been an hour already?
Has it been an hour already?
Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I didn't even get to talk everything I wanted to talk about, but we'll talk more. We'll do more. This is exciting. I'm gonna bring it. Yeah, I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna bring you guys a lot of experiences, a lot of stories. We're gonna talk about a lot of different topics. You know, I'll take questions. You know what I mean, stuff like that, and we'll make this journey a lot of fun and a lot of success for a lot of people. And I hope that I can help a lot of you achieve your goals and your dreams, and anything that I can assist in your journey, I'm gonna be here. That's why I'm doing this. I love it. I enjoy it very much, and let's rock it. Let's win.
I'm excited to help you on your journey. This is gonna be a lot of fun. You were made for this.
Thank you, sir.
Of course. I'll have you back on the show soon. Back on my show. And thank you for having me in your space. I don't invite everybody to my space, so I know what it's like to invite someone to your podcast, and I'm honored. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Thank you for coming on the show, and I love coming on yours. I can't wait to do another one. I'm excited. Guys, much success to all of you. God bless you guys, and enjoy your day.
Take care, guys.